busting. Many brothers I be sparking and rusting, man, like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations. However, this time it's about the anime. So if you're not caught up on the anime, I would recommend clicking off this video. So with that being said though, let's go ahead and jump into today's discussion. So I think we need to have a conversation now about Sarada Uchiha's training to learn the Chidori. And I gotta say, for those of you guys who have been keeping up with the Sasuke Shinden videos I've been doing, the teacher star pupil, where Sasuke is training Team 7 and kind of acting as their sensei because Konohamaru's out of action during this time, which it should be worth noting the events of this novel take place before the current anime arc. But the reason why I find this so interesting is the fact that in the anime, one of the things that they're getting ready to do is they're getting ready to show Sarada Chidori training. Now, the reason why I find this so fascinating is the fact that later on in the series, there's a pretty big fight that's coming up where Sarada having mastery over the Chidori is going to be something very crucial to actually winning that fight. And I think for fans of the anime, I think actually being able to actually see the training go forward, I think that's something that is going to add to a much bigger payoff, and I think it's something that a lot of fans have wanted to see. And I've seen the other side of the argument where people are saying, oh my god, why can't Sarada make her own jutsu? Just as a reminder, developing and passing on your ninjutsu to the next generation has always been a theme of Naruto. That's been something that every generation has done. It's a pride and joy when the generation behind you, in particular your children, inherit your ninjutsu. So Kakashi passed on the Chidori to Sasuke, Sasuke passed on to Sarada. That's the theme of the Naruto franchise, so I'm okay with it. However, what I would like to see is, I would like to see Sarada struggle to master the jutsu much in the same way that she struggled to evolve her Sharingan when she was fighting against Sasuke and training with Sasuke. I think that getting some little small in-between moments of actually seeing this training take place is something that could really help the anime, because the way that I think that they're setting this up for the anime is, while we have the events of Naruto versus Delta, while all that stuff is going on, you have the potential for there to be an off-screen type of a training session where you're seeing Sasuke and Sarada outside of the Hidden Leaf Village actually have their training going on. And so while Naruto's fighting against Delta, you see Sasuke working with Sarada to learn the Chidori. And I think that is something that could very well pay a lot of benefit. And I think that given the gap between when this Naruto versus Delta fight takes place and when Sarada gets her big fight, there is the possibility that that's essentially stuff that Sarada just does off screen after we see her training with Sasuke for a pretty decent amount of time. And so when Sarada actually busts out the jutsu, you could make the argument that she might have learned the jutsu in the same amount of time that Sasuke did. As a reminder, Sarada already has a lightning change in chakra nature, so she wouldn't take as long as Kakashi and Sasuke's overall training, because you have to remember Sasuke had to learn the lightning change in chakra nature because he already had fire as a change in chakra nature. According to Kakashi, it took a second for Sasuke to be able to learn and master a lightning change in chakra nature despite having Sharingan. So I could see a situation where Sarada, because she's already used lightning release since going all the way back to the Hidden Mist Field Trip arc, that cuts down on the actual learning curve, and so now it's just a matter of being able to mimic those movements and the speed that's required, and Sarada being able to keep her Sharingan active enough for enough of a time period for her to actually be able to pull off the Chidori. Because as Sakura told Sarada when they were training, her weakness is going to be her stamina, something I've been screaming for the last 3 years. But for whatever reason, people want to say, well, Sarada doesn't have issues using the Sharingan. No, the anime's already told you that. And the reason why that's so important is, in order to be able to successfully use the Chidori, you have to have the Sharingan. You can perform it without it, but you leave yourself open for counterattack because you need the Sharingan's Eye of Insight's ability to be able to predict the movements of your target, be able to adjust accordingly accordingly and be able to dodge if need be. That's the whole reason why when Sasuke was fighting against the Raikage, that's why Sasuke was able to get the drop on the Raikage and actually land the Chidori on the Raikage. Granted, it didn't do any damage to him, but he was still able to pull off that attack nonetheless for that reason, because his Sharingan was active. In the manga, you actually see Sasuke in a situation where Sasuke sees the attack coming from the Raikage when he's in his lightning chakra armor mode, and you see Sasuke make the necessary adjustments to land the attack. Under normal circumstances, that's a killing blow with Sasuke land on the Raikage, but the fact is that the Raikage was just so much more superior to Sasuke at the time. So I say that to say, you could have the situation where when Sarada and Sasuke are going through the training, you have the issue of where Sarada's not able to keep her Sharingan active long enough to be able to pull off the jutsu, which will make it that much more earned when we're in a situation where she actually pulls off the jutsu. I think that that could be something that really helps, and it would explain why during that fight, again, why Sarada is constantly cutting her Sharingan on and off again, because it would give you more of the build up, and it would kind of hint more towards Sarada still having some stamina issues using that Sharingan. So I think that is something that could work right there. And I think that once again, if the Kara actuation arc has taught us anything, is that when we get the opportunity to see these characters train and struggle a little bit, that's something that a lot of fans are going to be extremely pleased to see, and it makes the payoff for any type of battle type situations, it makes that payoff so much more earned, and it also gives the fans a reason to actually start rooting for the characters, because you've seen these characters struggle a bit, and even though Boruto and Sarada are essentially geniuses, seeing them have to actually work for the jutsu that they claim is going to be something very, very much that adds to the actual payoff. Now, in the next step of this, however, I do think that just as Sasuke eventually took the Chidori and began to add his own twist to it and come up with different variations like the Chidori Stream, the Chidori Spear, the Chidori Senbon, I think that Sarada needs to find a way to actually come up with her own variation of it as well. Just as Boruto learned the Rasengan and played into his strength, and Boruto made the compression Rasengan, I think that Sarada needs to find a way to do something similar to the Chidori, where maybe Sarada is able to use that chakra control that she has in order to mimic Sakura's monster strength, that superhuman strength that Sakura and Tsunade use. Maybe Sarada is able to actually find a way to actually use that with the Chidori at the same time. I think that having Sarada be able to take the Chidori and really make it into her own signature jutsu, that's something that the character desperately needs, in my opinion. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts about the fact that we're potentially going to be seeing Sarada's Chidori training while Naruto versus Delta take place? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.